Hello everyone and welcome back. So this video, we are going to be doing a mini series. Over the past year or so, I've been asked countless times by various people on social media for in-depth videos regarding how I started the business, why I started the business, general about myself, like my background, so on and so forth. So while we have lockdown, now is a perfect opportunity to do this. It's going to be a series based on the fact of you don't want to sit there for an hour listening to me talking. I don't want to sit there for an hour talking. So if we break it down into a mini series, it's a bit easier. It's better for people, concentration, that sort of thing. So episode 1 of the series is just an in-depth look at myself, a bit about my history, just I'd say an in-depth knowledge of myself so people get to know me a bit better. It's been requested. I think I've had probably 6 or 7 people privately inbox me saying that they wanted to know more about me and my background in general. So here we go. For those that don't know, my name is Daniel Fowler, actually called Dan. I'm only Daniel if I'm in trouble with my mum. I think most people can probably relate to that over the years. I'm 32 years old. I live on the border of basically Essex, Hertfordshire and London. I was born and raised in Lincolnshire, moved south in 2005. My mum had met my stepdad. He was a Met police officer. So obviously we moved. It was a lot easier for us to move south than him to try and transfer and, you know what I mean, all that politics. I lived in Woodford Green in Essex from 2005 till pretty much 2017 when they split up. My stepdad retired, they split, they both moved apart, etc. Rest in peace, he has now died of cancer, unfortunately. And that's really where everything went wrong. So we'll come back to that, but that's where everything really started to downgrade, so to speak, in life for me, and how part of the reason why we ended up where we are. Going back, car-wise, I've been interested in cars since I was, you know, I mean, little baby sort of thing. I was always given remote control cars, Tonka toys, all that sort of thing. I did mechanics at college until I moved to London, obviously. Anything motorsport, anything adrenaline side of things, I think anybody that's a car person is the same, but always been interested in cars and how things work and all that sort of stuff. And then one of the biggest things growing up for me until he died was Colin McRae. I've always loved Subarus anyway. Anyone that knows me will know this is a true fact as well. I've had countless Imprezas. I think I've had 3 4-doors. I've had a P1, and I was lucky enough to own one of the last 1,000 2-doors ever made. Absolutely mint condition, 88,000 kilometers, back seats had never been sat in. Incredible car, and I get a lot of abuse for this from friends because I owned the car, bought it 5 years ago now, and it sat, no, it'd be 6 years ago. It sat in my workshop that is now the detailing unit for 4 years. It probably did less than 500 miles in 4 years. I never drove it. I knew it was going to go up in value. It's definitely a collector's car now. But I'm a massive Jap car person. I've had 200 SXs. I've had Almera GTIs, just anything Jap. Or as much as I now drive German and I've got an S3. But Jap has always been the way I've been with cars. You can't beat a Skyline. In fact, my end goal, my 3 main cars in life, I've always had. The 3 main cars in life I've always said I would own would be a 2-door Impreza, which I've obviously owned, a Sprint Blue S3 Sportback DSG, which I now own, and an R35 GTR. Unfortunately, it's a few years off. I don't have 40 grand and countless pounds for maintenance work on it spare just yet, but it's a goal I'm working to, and that'll be me. I'll be happy. I don't have big plans to own a Ferrari, nothing. Give me a GTR any day and I'll be happy. Just cars in general make me happy, but yeah, Jap for me is my thing. I definitely love a Subaru, and Colin McRae was a big part of that. I think most people in the car world will have respect for Colin McRae and what he did, obviously, until that unfaithful day. Then obviously the Fast and Furious side of things come out into the country. That was a massive thing. Obviously the car scene, I mean, I wasn't driving at that point, but the car scene was huge. Obviously I used to go to all the shows, the Max Power shows, as probably most of you watching this have. And then Tokyo Drift come out, and I remember it was 2009 or 2010. GADM All Stars Wembley happened. Got the day off work, went over there with some friends to watch it. Instantly fell in love with drifting, and it's been a massive part of my life ever since, really. I countlessly watched drifting events. My then ex-girlfriend got me into photography. We travelled the country 4 years as spectators, following the British Drift Championship, watching every event and so on. She bought me a camera for my birthday for one of those years. I started doing photography as a side hobby sort of thing. It was nothing, didn't think it would ever actually go anywhere, and loved it, progressed more, and then bought a better camera and so on. And I've now been part of the British Drift Championship media team for the past 6 years, I think it is, 5 years, 6 years. Multiple events. I've done pretty much every British Drift Championship event. I think I've missed one event, and that was because of COVID last year. Yeah, pretty much every event for the past 5 years, I think it is. I've done Drift Cup, which is the feeder series, or was the feeder series, it's now changed, but feeder series for the Drift Championships. I've been lucky enough to go to Ireland multiple times, thanks to some friends, to shoot the Irish Drift Championship and Drift Games. I've even got lucky enough to be given media access to an event in Liverpool called Red Bull Drift Shifters. They invited, I think it was 10 of the best drifters from around the world over to the UK, closed a section of Liverpool town centre off, I can't remember the exact location, and put on a show. It was actually probably one of the most relaxed events I've done, and I know a lot of the other guys did the same. It was a case of, where can we stand? Anywhere behind the barriers, don't get killed. What's the high visibility vest situation? No, we don't want you to have one because it's being filmed for Red Bull TV, and we don't want loads of orange vests in the way, sort of thing. So that was definitely one of the highlights. I mean, there was cars from New Zealand, Japan, Australia, Hawaii. It was incredible to watch that. Was definitely, I mean, the car from Japan, if I remember correctly, was actually the guy's mechanic's road car in Japan. They brought that over. So it was an event. It's definitely something I won't forget. It's cars in general have just been, I've done Max Power over the years. Like, I think everyone's been to car shows and that, but I love cars, always have. Anything to do with cars, I'm there. Cars are my world, pretty much, unfortunately. I did, work-wise, I was a mobile tyre fitter for two of the biggest companies in the UK for pretty much 10 years. Started off on the outskirts of London, loved it. I was my own boss. There was no one there telling me what I can and can't do. You basically got your jobs, picked your stock up, off you went. There was no politics involved then. Then the company sort of got sold, politics come into it. They were tightening the belts on stuff, wanting more work out of you. I moved and got put into East London, North London, and occasionally the city. Now, anyone that's watching this that's worked in the city of London as a driver will know my pain. One-way streets, dead ends, cameras everywhere. You can't park anywhere. It's just horrific. It would take stupid amounts of time. You'd have arguments with the dispatch centre because they'd be trying to send you to silly locations at the wrong time of day on a Friday. And the love for the job started to disappear. And then it all comes back to 2017, which is probably where the next video will start, to be fair. And it just, everything built up to that point. And I wasn't happy with the job anyway, but it was a job. Where else are you going to find what you already have sort of thing, you know, it pays the bills. I'd always thought previously about doing something for myself, but quite frankly, never had the balls to do it. It's going to work on your own is scary. I just plodded along, hated the job. Stupid things like not hitting bonus, you know. I think most people that work for companies are probably going to agree with this. In fairness, there's not really a lot more to say about myself that is a relevant sort of thing to this video. We've touched into the cars, we've touched into, you know, how I got into cars, what cars I've had, my photography side of things. All of that I still plan on continuing as soon as COVID allows it, obviously. It was very strange last year not doing a lot of events, and hopefully, fingers crossed, later half of this year, we will be able to get out and get back to some events. There's a lot of events planned. I will still be continuing the drifting stuff. Now, it has taken a backseat a little bit for the past 2 years whilst getting to this point with the business. Obviously, that had to give. This year, I want to try and push more on it. I want to support. There's another championship come up in the UK this year, so I want to try and support them. In fact, one of the guys that owns this new championship was one of the people that gave me the opportunity to be media in the first place. So naturally, I'm going to help support him. I want to go back and do Rally GB. I went over to do that in 2019 for the first time. Normally, Rally GB always clashes with another event while I'm in North Wales, funny enough. So it's always gutting that I'm 5-10 miles away from Rally GB, but at another event. 2019 it didn't, so I went with some friends. Mad event. Look, I've got a lot of respect for rally drivers. Like, them guys are incredible drivers. So I want to go back and hopefully redo that this year, again, providing it's allowed. Just do more exploring photography wise. I'd like to get out and do more landscape, nature stuff. There is some mega locations in London to do, but unfortunately it's not safe to go on your own. You need to go with a good few of you. And the downside to that is, if you say there's 4 of you walking around and you're all photographers, you're walking around with potentially 15,000-20,000 pounds worth of kit in London at night. It's not safe, it's not ideal. I get paranoid whenever I do go up there, and it's not a nice feeling. So that's a negative to London, unfortunately. A lot of opportunities are missed because of that. But I do want to get out and do more landscape, just more nature stuff, you know, just something other than cars as well. But that's, again, it's all COVID dependent and so on and so forth. Guys, sorry if this is rambling on and boring to some of you, but it's been asked for, so we've said we'll do it. I'm hoping to get the videos out every couple of days, every 2 or 3 days, get the next part out, and they are going to be filmed in a different location. We'll try and make sure each one's different so that you can see that it's not one long video filmed and then edited. It is independently done, sort of thing. If you have got a question that you do want answering that's to do with something future on, or what I've already said, drop a comment in the comments box. What I will probably do is at the end of each video, I will go into the Q&As that have relevance to something else. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. We'll work it out. But yeah, thanks for the support, everyone. Drop a comment in the comments box if you've got one. Say, if not, click the thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and stay tuned for episode 2, which should be in a couple of days.